Hello, welcome to Let's Talk Human. Okay, here is where we have human conversations. Okay, we have another podcast called Individual Perspective Podcast. It's under the umbrella of Darasite Entertainment. Both podcasts, is Individual Perspective Podcast and Let's Talk Human. But we bring you this new podcast because I always kind of, I'm very wonky and very technical in how I communicate and what I want to present. Whereas it's like it'd take like 5 hours to grab clips and do all kind of different things to prep the show and all that stuff for Individual Perspective Podcasts. And it's detailed because, it take me half a day to prep for it and get everything ready. And then you just want to come on and be fired up when you feel something, when you want to talk about something, and all that prep can sometimes, take the momentum and take the energy and take the actual validity of what you're trying to communicate away by the time you get through doing all the prep work and the artwork and you're designing your banners and your stills and stuff like that. So I told myself I'm gonna do a podcast where under no circumstances would it stop me from just bloviating. It communicating about whatever I want to communicate about. And if I decide to come on at that specific time with some clips or images and everything, if I got it quick enough or accessible enough or just simple, then I could just come on. But under no circumstances would I not even give myself the ability to just come on air and talk. So why do I call the show Let's Talk Human? Because everything is every interaction that people are having now is pretty PR. Like it's like a structure of public relations. It's a structure of clout and clout chasing. It's a structure of like the in crowd, the out crowd, the rich, the poor. You know what I mean? The hip, the not so cool, the geek to the popular. It's ridiculous, and it's like people can't even talk to each other because it's so much like, how can I say, it's so much it's almost like it's so much like separation and class warfare going on or social warfare going on that you can't really have communication with people. And I think it's all bad for us. And look, we had about 40 to 50 years of this social experimentation of anything goes society. That's what we live in right now, and that's what we're fighting for, and all our policies and our politics and our social dynamics, our relationships, business, everything has dropped into a everything goes society where there's just not an evaluation on who's in front of you, who you're having a conversation with. What are they saying? Does it have any validity? Does it have structure to it? Does it have any objectivity to it? Is it purely subjective? If it's none of that evaluation is going on anymore. It's about when you walk into the door, do you got shoes that cost $150 and up? Do you got a suit on that costs about $1,000 or up? You get what I'm saying? Do you have your teeth straight? Do you have your hair? Are you fat? Are you skinny? You know what I mean? Are you boring or are you not boring? Are you aggressive or you're passive? You know what I mean? It's so much things that goes into how people get hired, if you get fired, if you make money, if you can capitalize, if you do good relationships with people or not, it's all based on things that are not the bigger picture, the broad spectrum. You know what I mean? It's a perception that it can lead to a broad spectrum that you perceive that person. Like, oh, he's fat, so that means he's going to be lazy. You know what I mean? So that's maybe an error. And this guy may be extremely productive, ingenuitive, and even if he's a little bit overweight, he's phenomenal at what he does. And you don't even allow that factor to play in because of society's perception and value of it. And I'm just using that as an example, but let's talk means let's talk human, okay? Let's have a conversation with each other. And I know, like, I'm just coming on and I just want to give an introduction of what we're doing. My name is Darius D. McKinney. I'm your host, and I will be kind of bringing you in. I'll be bringing people in here to kind of talk with me, do FaceTime talks or like, Zoom talks or whatever kind of conversation to kind of get people to give me their opinion, to challenge my opinions, and vice versa. I do a lot. I like, by the time 12 o'clock or 3 o'clock come, I had a 10-hour, 12-hour day already. You get what I'm saying? And trust me, that's not me just bloviating. That's real. My day really starts pretty early, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and I just go. You get what I'm saying? Like a lot of things I'm doing. Darasite Entertainment, we're releasing movies. We're releasing about 6 movies in the next month or so. In addition to that, we're doing 2 podcasts, Individual Perspective Podcast and Let's Talk Human Podcast. And we're getting our wheels turning, and it's just starting it up. We're starting it up, this content driving apparatus that we're doing here. So we need your support, we need your love, we need you to hit the like, follow, and subscribe. The handles that I have up top here is going to change out because it's got the Individual Perspective Podcast, and I'm starting to create the handles for Let's Talk Human. So as I go, I want to make sure that that we could just get started. We could just go, you know what I mean? And I appreciate you guys. If you just kind of I'm going to be aggressive. If you go look at Individual Perspective Podcast on Rumble or on YouTube, you'll see that I do hundreds of hours of content. So you don't have to worry about me not being consistent and come on. The reason why I built this podcast is so even if I got my iPhone, I could just start talking to you doing a podcast in the car when I'm working and doing whatever I'm doing. I could just take some time aside and do a podcast and keep context and content going. And when I see something that we need to talk about, we just come on and talk about. We don't do all the bells and whistles, the banners and video clips and all that stuff. We just come on, have a conversation, and stop having ourselves in hesitation. What stop myself from being hesitant to do content until I curate it properly or something like that. I just want to be able to have a platform where I could just come in and talk to you guys about stuff that I'm seeing, stuff that I'm hearing, politics, entertainment, social dynamics, whatever. Let's Talk Human is let's have a conversation as if we were in a bar talking to each other, if we were in a restaurant talking to each other, if we were out somewhere where we will bump into a human being and talk to them about certain things. Somebody have a shirt on or somebody have some kind of hat on and we comment on that and stuff like that. That's what Let's Talk Human is. Let's talk how we would talk and interact with each other, like how we would interact with each other in the street, in society, and stop the clout chasing of it, where you can't even have a real conversation with a average person because it's the panel that you set up, and these are your like-minded people, or people that you feel like, oh, you pretty enough for me to talk to, or you rich enough for me to talk to, or you smart enough for me to talk to. It's broad spectrum. We have to have all dynamics, and we have to have a podcast that communicates with actual people, human beings, and it's in the things that people are saying are relatable. It's some way that you can say, you know what, I didn't look at it that way, I could apply that, because you see that it's coming from people that what they're saying gives you data and facts that they're coming from where you come from. They're coming from where you at. So it's nothing different between, I will say, you look at all these social influencers and these podcasters and these movie stars and singers and musicians and real estate moguls and all these people that's got, the difference that they did was they were willing to be unmercifully selfish to what they wanted to get done. And everybody took a back seat to it. And they won't tell you this. They want you to kind of pay $1,000 for a training, or like some modules, or like some training levels or some stuff like that. But the truth of the matter is, the difference between you and Gary Gondone and if I say his name right, or PBD podcasting, Fresh and Fit, and all these people and stuff like that. The difference between you and them is they're unmerciful for what they want to get done, meaning that they do not substitute what is necessary to get that goal accomplished, or to get to where they're trying to get to. So that you come home and you say, like, man, I want to take this $300 or this $500 or this grand, and I gotta kind of take care of this stuff just to keep the house in harmonious situation. So I'm paying for this just so I won't hear no shit in the house. You get what I'm saying? But the discipline is, no. What are you trying to achieve here? What is your goal? What are your entrepreneur? What's your thought process saying that you want to, like, get a value of an extra grand, extra 10 grand in your household every 6 months or to a year or something like that? Or if you spend this extra $500, $300, $1,000 towards that, will it get you closer to that? Or it doesn't even matter, so you might as well keep the stability of your household sane for the month that you're in, just so you won't have no drama. The people that you looking up to, the people that you going on podcasts, the people that you spending $1,000 to $1,500 to $2,000 to $10,000 to try to level yourself up to their mindset or their lifestyle. The difference between them and you is they don't give a shit about you. You just a tool for them. You're just a easy money for them. So they're not gonna leave money on the table. So if it's easier for them to come on and take your Patreon or your membership or your actual your training seminars, or like your module funds that you're giving to them, so they can bloviate talking points and mindset and making you get in a behavior of 3 weeks or more, or 10,000 hours or more of habit forming. You get what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, I'm not going against guys that do the Patreons or the memberships or the modules and all that stuff. I'm just I'm having a human conversation. I'm talking human to the Homo sapiens out there that really need to understand what's black and white about life. You get what I'm saying? Even in my life, I'm literally in the last couple years of transitioning myself into being relentless about what I already know. And the difference is I'm not using what I know. I'm not doing what I know religiously. Now I do. Now I do. Like now I won't even talk to you if it's unnecessary. If it's not necessary, I won't even have a conversation with you because it's not necessary. You going on with your life, you doing what you doing, and no matter if you talk to me or you don't talk to me, it's just irrelevant. So if somehow my vacancy makes you talk to me, that's not really a purpose to talk. You're just talking to me because something regiment is broken. So my regimen is to make sure that I be proactive and be aggressive in what I know. And what I know is the difference between where I want to go and where I want to be to where I'm at to what a person may have over me or ahead of me. The difference is that they was relentless. They put everybody on the side, family, friends, life, relationships, everything to accomplish what they're trying to accomplish. And then they equated everything in as it went along. You get what I'm saying? So for me, it's the discipline that I must sacrifice for what needs to be sacrificed and what's important to get me to where I'm going. You get what I'm saying? Or where I'm trying to execute on. I wouldn't be able to accomplish the things that I accomplished in the last 6 years if I didn't transition my mindset like that. Now I'm going to another level now where it's literally like, don't be in a room where people are willing to cut your head off because you're that irrelevant to them. It doesn't matter if you're just another dead corpse walking around with no head to them. You walk into the room, and that's how the people in the room are. You get what I'm saying? And you coming in there humane. You're like, oh, you know what? I would love to build a relationship with you. Here, look, this is what I got in mind. This is what I want to do. This is what I can present to you guys. This is what I can offer. This is what I bring to the table. And everybody in that room looking at you as a dispensable person or how to make you dispensable. You need to walk in that room and they're dispensable to you. They're relevant to you. Not that you hyping yourself up, that you already made moves in your life. You already did things that in the long, broad spectrum of what you're doing that actually puts them in that situation before you walked in the room. Otherwise, don't go in the room. Art of the deal. Yeah, I know you guys don't like Donald Trump, but art of the deal. Don't walk into a room if you don't know what your leverage is in that room. If you don't have no leverage, if you don't know what your leverage is, don't walk in the room. You don't belong in that room. You're not supposed to be in that room. You don't understand that room. What is the room? Anything. On a job interview, in a relationship, you're talking to a girl talking to a guy, whatever situation it is. If you're dealing with different dynamics of friends and partnerships and all that stuff like that, don't walk into a room you don't know what your leverage is. So when you walk into a room, know what your leverage is. Know how indispensable you are and how indispensable everyone else is that's across the table from you. That makes you where you can look up. You don't allow other people, exterior people, to give you value and devalue you. And this mindset, I'm relentless in. And look, I lost some very close people that I really, really, really loved. And some people I really wanted to work with my whole life. I wanted to be around, I want to partner with. I wanted to have a great relationship with them. But they felt I was dispensable, and vice versa. Now I feel that you're dispensable. And I'm not changing. I'm not going back on it. Why? Because that's the value that was presented. I always say, one of the things I do, I let people set the tone. Let me know where you want to go with this relationship. Me, I'm willing to first I want to go positive and great and do great things together. But if you set the tone that it's irrelevant and it's replaceable and that it's dispensable, like I got no choice but to adjust to that situation. But the best way is not to adjust to it. Be preemptive to know that this is what's popping off in this room. This is what's popping off with this person, and set the tone. Set it like if that goes in that level, I'm already there. I'm flexible. You know what I'm saying? I'm very flexible. However you want to do this, I'm flexible. You know? Let's talk human, y'all. This is what we talking about. Let's have a human conversation, okay? This is where we do it. We have human conversations. That's what this podcast is about. So I wanted to come in and introduce myself to you guys. My name is Darius D. McKinney. Just like Paris, just with a D. Darius D. McKinney, okay? And this is Let's Talk Human. And this is where we have human conversations, okay? And I'll be coming in and conversating like this, mind setting and stuff like that. I love doing all that. And I think we are each other's prosperity. And all we got to do is when the average person, I'm talking about like a random person in Walmart, Myers, Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, chicken, random people, everyday people, garbage men, construction workers, firemen, all these people, random people, when we walk into each other, when we come across each other, it's about not hurting that person and what they're doing. Your job is to not prevent another person's whatever's happening, whatever's going. You get what I'm saying? I always say, what was that? The mechanism is do not disturb. And I think that was from Star Trek, if I'm not mistaken. The mechanism is do not disturb. No, I'm sorry. The prime directive is do not disturb. Okay? And if we don't know what to do, and this is what that means. The prime directive is do not disturb, because Star Trek was pretty much, it was about explorers. So like people that, like the United States of America space program, going to different planets and going to different places to kind of just research and do pretty much R&D, research and development, just to see what's going on, see how everything work, how the species work, how the people in the different planets, how they interact, how the organisms or whatever they come into contact with, what's the science behind it, but don't mess with it. The prime directive is do not disturb. So no matter where you go, no matter who you come in contact with, don't disrupt what's the natural order of the situation. That's what's the prime directive. So every Starfleet, like their mindset, all the employees, all the people that was part of the organization, they always told them the prime directive, mean the number one thing about this situation is do not disturb, meaning don't have sex with the aliens. Don't mess with people's structure, bringing your ideological point of view into their situation, because what you're going to do is disrupt everything. And that's pretty much what Star Trek was about, was all the different people and different groups and commanders and the Kirk and all of them disrupting things and throwing things into chaos because they was pretty much disobeying the prime directive of do not disturb. And the reason why I'm telling you guys, and I know that's a little geeky, but look, let's talk human, okay? Come on, let's have a conversation, okay? The reason why I'm talking about this is, and I bring up that point of view, is because that mindset is supposed to be, it's actually scary. It's scary, but it's actually a very fruitful situation in society. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can disrupt the order of something, and no matter how much you try to change it or improve it or do something for it in positiveness, or what you felt or your perception felt it needed to be driven like this, or our relationship should be going in this direction. And the truth of the matter is, sometimes you're disrupting something that can be better happening. Meaning that sometimes people will try to save somebody that you prolong that awakening that person may have because you're intervening too much. You're making it easier for them, or you're kind of giving it a little bit of a where they can't see the big broad spectrum of the situation, or they won't get tired, or how can I say, they won't get exhausted by what's going on to make the change because you're always intervening. You know what I mean? There's some people, they need it. That one chance where you reach out to them and you give them a hand up. Just a little boost. That's all they needed to get themselves out the hole. You get what I'm saying? So every single day was the world shitted on them, was disrespected them, showed them less respect of being a human, and all they needed was that hand up. That moment where a person just said, hey, better than this. You could do this. This is what your ability is. I always say this about men. Every single man, I'm talking about, I don't care how you feel about them. I don't care how the women feel about them. You women out there, you think that all guys are deadbeats or losers, or they not leveled up and all the other stuff. Every single man has the Alexander syndrome in him. He has the Alexander syndrome inside of him. What does that mean? He has the ability to be great and conquer and be a great legacy holder. Every single man, I don't care how, if he's in his mama's basement playing video games, he's a slug, or whatever's going on in the situation where you found him in, or you seen him in, or you know of him in, you know what I mean? No matter who this person is, if he's a man, he has the Alexander syndrome in him, okay? And it so happened to be that our society in the last half a century, 40 to 50 years, have made men so they won't be so aggressive and so dogmatic because of the policies and laws and different things, that our mindset can't naturally be the way it is. We've subdued ourselves, and you really got about 2,000 years of men subduing themselves to be a little bit more cohesive with society and Homo sapien evolution. But the truth of the matter is, every man on instinct know how to hunt, know how to survive, know how to conquer, know how to achieve. But sometimes we need it awakened in us. We need it to be awakened. And I think that value has been disrespected, because in order to give a equilibrium or an evaluation of women not in the workforce to men overpopulating the workforce, and to balance that out, the only way you could do that is men have to, as a whole, develop a culture that we subdue ourselves, we neuter ourselves, okay, or castrate ourselves, not physically, but metaphorically, mentally, and emotionally, and how our brain works and how our anatomy is. Men will have to somewhat be opposite of what they are in a way, or subdue what they are in order to not be aggressively offended by something or aggressively combative to something, because that's our nature. You know what I mean? We don't really need human beings to talk. Men don't really have to talk to know if it's a problem, if it's a danger there. I don't need that guy to start swinging a knife. It's certain things he's doing, certain mannerisms he has, certain ways that he's looking. It's certain, his eyes pop open and he's got these death eyes, and the black pupil of his eyes, he's in murder mode. And you attack that, you be ready to shoot. He makes one slight move to try to give himself an upper hand, you eliminate it. That's how men naturally are. We see it. You get what I'm saying? So if every man has this ability and is this way, and in the perception of modern people, modern society, men are just so weak and they so docile and stuff like that. It's a con. It's a psychological trauma to subdue themselves that they not who they naturally are. You get what I'm saying? And a lot of people blame it on single mothers raising men. That's a big thing of it. But no matter what, a man can break through that. It's a certain amount of him wanting to not be overly aggressive in his nature that he follows suit. Meaning that he follows code. He follows society's makeup of him, or thought process of what he needs to be like. You get what I'm saying? So I didn't mean to go so deeper into that. This is supposed to only be an introduction episode, but I guess this is a good way to introduce, to get you to my mindset of why I like to say, let's talk human. Okay. But I just wanted to say that because I want women to watch this show. I want men to watch this show. Black, white, Asians, Hispanics, you know what I mean? Middle Eastern, whatever, Jewish, whatever the population is, I want us all to be able to have human conversations, okay? I don't want to alienate nobody. This platform, Let's Talk Human, is for humans. It's for Homo sapiens. Let's have a conversation about the Homo sapien evolution of the last 2 to 10,000 years. Okay? Let's have a human Homo sapien conversation about Homo sapiens and the evolution of Homo sapiens in the last 2,000 to 10,000 years. Because I'm telling you, our life and how we interact with each other is 50 years old. We're throwing away all the progress of humanity and Homo sapiens and humans in the last 2 to 10,000 years. We're throwing it all away for 50 years of this last 50 years. And if you really take a step back, don't think about how you feel about it. Don't have your emotions and the decisions that you made that makes it where it's irreparable and there's no way to turn it back. Let's just have a human conversation. Okay? Let's just talk human about the last 50 years is not good. I think we hurt a lot of who we are as just genetics and species and what we injected into society for the last 50 years. But look, I'm not saying that I could be wrong. That's why I want to have a conversation. That's why I want to talk. That's why I want to, let's talk humans. Everybody, I want to talk to everybody. Everybody. We all humans and Homo sapiens. Let's have a conversation with humans. That's what this podcast is about. My job is to reach out to you, see if you want to talk. Go into the comment section. It's everything. My email is there. Let's Talk Human at outlook.com. Give me some comments in there. Give me your information so I can contact you and everything. And let me just set up ways to talk to you. In addition to that, you can put it in the comments in the bottom of the description and everything like that. Please like, subscribe, and follow. Like, subscribe, and follow. That's the basics that you guys can do for me. I need you to put $1, $2, $5, whatever you could put into the description area and to the PayPal and the Venmo. But if you can't do that, like, follow, subscribe. Okay, my name is Darius D. McKinney, and I just wanted to come in and introduce Let's Talk Human. Here is where I want us to have human conversation. So let's have a human conversation. Okay? So I'll see you guys on the next one where we kind of come in and talk about a specific subject. But this is an introduction, and I'm introducing myself to you guys. And thank you for spending the time with me. It looked like I was talking for about 36 minutes or so. But thank you guys. My name is Darius D. McKinney. Darius D. McKinney. This is Let's Talk Human. Please check out Individual Perspective Podcast. It's on Rumble. It's on YouTube. I'm gonna try to put this on both profiles, but right now, Let's Talk Human is on YouTube, and hopefully, you guys help me raise this podcast. And the best I can do is to get you guys to like, follow, subscribe. Thanks for spending your time with me. I'll see you on the next one.